And you piss me off. Why is the story already started before me?
You want some queen shit.
I need to get through this book. Hello and welcome back to Alexandria Loves Books. Boo-boo. Hi, I'm your host, Alexandria. I was inspired by Rachel Catherine's video that she posted at some point in the past month or so, where she was trying to finish every series that she's in the middle of. And I was like, you know what? I'm also in the middle of so many series, and it's kind of stressing me out because I already know of many other series that I want to start. So I just took a little peek in my handy dandy reading journal series tracker. There are 26 series here. I realize there's a 27th series I'm in the middle of, Harry Potter, that I forgot to put down. I don't think it's on here. Nope, it is not. So I'm in the middle of 27 series. Some of them, the next book isn't out yet, so that cuts me some slack. So I have 22 series that I can, like, the books are out and I can continue them if I actually just read the books. That's a lot more than I thought, and a lot more than I would like to be in the middle of, especially considering how many new series I want to start this year. Let's tackle some series, okay? I really want to make some progress and catch up with series or finish series that I'm in the middle of. Now I'm going to start with a book that you may have seen me read and a few reading vlogs ago. King of Sloth. I am still in the middle of it. I'm still trucking away. I'm still trying to get through this book. I'm on page 302 out of like 437. I still have 135 pages to go. This book is dragging. If you saw, I tried reading this in my 24-hour romance only readathon, and I soft DNF'd it because I just couldn't. It is boring. I don't get why they like each other. I don't believe them. And you could just be like, well, hey, Alexandria, why don't you just actually DNF it? I can't let myself do that. I'm too far in. And this series, I just need to keep going. The 5th book, King of Envy, comes out, I think, in April. And I've seen some good lines from it. So I just gotta keep going, okay? I just gotta keep trying. So first book is King of Sloth, and then I'll be caught up in the Kings of Sin series until April. Let's get to reading. I feel like the scene that I just read was my favorite scene of this whole thing, 400 pages in. And I think it might be the only reason it's not a 1 star. I just read through the 3rd act conflict, and it was boring and predictable and pointless. Why it just was thrown in. 3rd act conflicts can hit hard when they're done right, but as you might have gathered, this whole book is not hitting. But that scene, honestly, I actually felt connected and emotional with them, which has not happened at all in the 400 pages prior. Only 37 pages to go. I can't believe I'm finally saying this, but I finished King of Sloth a month after starting it. I don't even have to think. It's a 2 star. 2 stars. Honestly, 1.75, 2, or in that area, okay? This book is not Anna Huang's best work. The Twisted series is where it's at if you want to read her books. Kings of Sin series heavily falls flat. The first book, King of Wrath, is okay. The rest don't hit. I feel like lately her books just lack emotional depth and connection, and it doesn't have that soulmate energy that the Twisted series has. The plot is just very flat to me of this book and the previous ones in the series. They're very just, when things happen, I'm not invested ever. Her books are very spicy, a bit like I was expecting that with the Twisted series being so spicy, but I feel like most if not all of the time, the spice does not really have anything to do with a deeper emotional connection. Sometimes it does. I don't love spice, but if it actually has an emotional purpose and actually affects the couple and like their journey and the plot and their connection, honestly, like I kind of enjoy it. And I think it can be a very like beautiful aspect into like that love story. But just lately, I feel like her spice is just like, let's throw in spice. And like, okay, here's like a happy moment, so it seems like we should just throw in some spice. And it just, oh, it's not great to me. So now I am caught up in this series as of right now. There will be 3 more books in the series. I will be reading them. I only have 3 more books in the series. I need to finish it. Okay, I don't like need to, but it's like, it's a 7-book series, but I'm already like too far in that like it just needs to happen. And oh, so one thing that I think is like partially the reason why I'm not like obsessed with her stories lately is because, so they're interconnected standalones, but like the next couple doesn't start in the previous book to their book, but it is kind of like, it's their story is starting in like the second half or like ending of the book before it, if that makes sense. So like, for example, the next book, King of Envy, is, I'm not sure how you actually say his name, Vuk? I'm assuming that, I have to look it up, but I'm not sure how you say it. And Ayana, I think is how you say her name. And so we get introduced to those characters here. I don't remember if they're in the previous books, maybe they were, I don't know. But they're involved in this book. And I know the plot of that one is that she's like engaged and he's like, no, she's mine. And so he's like envious, King of Envy. Well, she's engaged. She gets engaged in this book, and we see things like his reactions to things that like lead into the next book. And I get like wanting to put that in here because then it makes you want to read the next one, but in my opinion it sucks starting the next book and it's already kind of started the story, and I'm like, I just started the story. Why is the story already started before me? Like, does that make any sense? Like, technically, yeah, I read the start of the story in the book prior to like their story, but it just doesn't hit as hard to me. It doesn't let me grow and feel connected. It just like throws me in a story that's usually not all that interesting anyway. I think Olivia brought him back to life. I love Carter and Olivia, the OGs. As you guys saw, I started reading Play With Me by Becca Mack. This is the second book in the Playing for Keeps hockey romance series. The first one was Consider Me, which I read back in October, I want to say. I loved that book, gave it 4.75 stars. And so I think there's 4 books in the series. There might be a 5th one coming out, but I don't know when. This book, it's kind of intimidated me because it's 480 pages long. She's a chunk. That's why I'm like just shy of halfway before actually talking to you about it, just because I was like, I need to get through this book. So Sid, this is for you. You have pushed me to read this sooner than I probably would have without you. This one follows Garrett Anderson, who we met in the first book. He's on the hockey team with Carter, and Jenny, who is Carter's little sister. So this is like best friend's little sister and friends with benefits trope. It's not enemies to lovers, but they like kind of don't get along in the beginning. I mean, he from the start was like, oh, she's attractive and I'm intrigued by her, and she's like, why are you always here? So it's like not enemies, but it's like they don't like fully like mesh yet. There's this like physical attraction. So like the first book, this one is also very spicy, especially since the plot is about their spice. So they end up becoming friends with benefits, they're neighbors, and then of course through them spending physical time together, an emotional connection forms and grows. But Carter is very protective of his little sister, and he will hurt anyone who tries to get with her. So that's kind of one of their obstacles from like being public with their friends with benefits, so it's like secret. I'm enjoying it. I'm not obsessed. It's definitely not gonna like compare to Consider Me. I love Carter and Olivia so much, and seeing them in this book makes me so happy because they're just so goofy and silly and stupid, and I love them. This book starts off right where Consider Me ended. So it's like you don't miss anything, and I love that because I don't want to miss anything about their lives. I will say the plot, it's not very like action-packed, if you will. I wouldn't call it slice of life, but it kind of leans more towards slice of life and like character driven than plot driven, which is not my favorite thing. Sometimes that can lead me to be bored while reading. I haven't experienced that yet, but I have experienced being like, I guess I'll keep reading. I don't really fully want to, I don't know, but I am enjoying it though. Play with me no longer means just them hooking up. My heart, this is so precious. And she goes, come on, Garrett, play with me. I did it. I finished it.
Woo! That's, you on some queen shit. Hell yeah.
Words. What do I want to rate this? I was gonna rate this 4 stars, but it's kind of leaning towards a 3.75 because I am so tired of reading about them hooking up all the time. And I know that's like the whole point of the plot. They're like friends with benefits and then they become more, but like throughout the whole thing, it's like every other scene and it just kind of gets boring after a while. The found family is so precious and I love Hank so much and he's so adorable. And the whole family, they feel like real people. I did cry a lot of times in both good and bad ways because I just felt so connected to them. So should it be a 4? Maybe it should be a 4 for that reason. But I'm really tired of them hooking up. This book is spicy. If you don't like spice, don't read this. I think those are all my thoughts for right now. But what time is 3 a.m.? It's 2:47. Sydney, this is for you. Now, don't ask me to read a specific book for a while because it took a while for me to read this, but I did it, and this is for you. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow when I pick the next book and the next series that I'm gonna finish. It's the next day. It's almost like 5 p.m. I have not read it all today. But I realized I was like so delirious when I finished Play With Me. I don't think I like really mentioned much about like the love story and like the main characters. I don't know. But I did want to say and mention that I really loved their love and their connection, even though it was very spicy. I feel like, I mean, they both had such hard, like emotional things that they were working through, and I feel like they were both there for each other in really beautiful ways. And Garrett, that's his name, right? Yeah, he really showed up for her in a lot of ways, and it was beautiful to see them love each other and to go on that emotional journey in like such like the private way, because they were keeping it secret, obviously, with the whole brother's best friend thing. So I do think they did have a beautiful connection despite like me not loving all of like the spice and everything. I am hoping to read, don't hold me to it, but I'm thinking of picking up The Housemaid is Watching. If I do read this, then I will have read 7 out of the 8 books on my February TBR. So I think I want to finish up this little trilogy. You know, there's a short story, but I don't really have any desire to read it, and it's not necessary. So once I finish this, I'll count that as a series completed. Don't mind the dryer going, but I have finally started The Housemaid is Watching by Frida McFadden. I am on page 56, chapter 9, and I just want to say, you know, no spoilers, but these neighbors, I hate them. Miss Suzette, I don't like what you're doing. I don't like how you're behaving, and you piss me off. I know that there's some sketchy, weird stuff going on. I know of a few characters that like seem suspicious, and I don't know like who's like the bad one, if you will, or like how the plot is going to play out, but I'm really hoping that these neighbors that I really don't like, I hope something happens, because I don't like how they're behaving. Also, it is so cute seeing Enzo and Millie like married and everything. This is like after they've been married for like a decade and they have like 2 kids, and like they're moving into this like cute little house in a cul-de-sac. They're trying to live like their American dream, and it's very wholesome and cute seeing them as like a family. I'm another 50 pages in, now at page like 100, and still, even more so, I really do not like this neighbor. What is she up to? What does she want? What is she trying to achieve here? I would like to know. So I'm gonna keep reading. I just read almost 100 pages in an hour. I normally read like 50. This book is good. It's getting me. About to start part 2. Page 282. What? What? How? So I'm on chapter 67, page 318, which means I have about 70 pages left. So I'm reading this basically in one sitting. I'm getting a little nervous because at this point in the story, it seems like the kids are playing a bigger role in the plot, which is fine, but I have suspicions about what's really going on, and it is making me a little nervous because I don't want what I'm thinking things are leaning towards to be true, and so that's really scaring me because I don't want to read about what I think I'm reading about. This book has been literally like a page turner. I've been putting this book off for a bit because I just wasn't sure if I was in the mood for a mystery or thriller. I finally picked it up and I barely put it down, and I've read 318 pages all in one day, which is not like me. This book is, I'm eating it up, but I am getting a little nervous now. So I'm gonna continue reading this book. I'll finish it tonight. I'll update you next time there's an update, whether that's in 10 pages or when I finish the book. Okay, luckily the situation is not what I was thinking it was gonna be, which I'm happy about, and I'm praying that like that doesn't change in the next however many pages. But I still feel a lot of emotions about what these how these kids are getting involved, where I'm like, it's hard. I can't really express my thoughts about it without spoiling anything. We need to be teaching our children about safety and communicating with adults. I say we and our children as if I'm a mother. I am not. I have no children. But one day, I pray that I will, and I'll be teaching them about safety and who you should or shouldn't trust and what you should or shouldn't trust. So that's got me a little heated. Oh my god, okay. Part 4. My original theory was correct, but then other things happened and I was like, no, that doesn't make sense. That wouldn't be how things happened. But I was right. Partially. That last line? Are you kidding me? Papa, Frida McFadden. Good morning. It is the next day. I finished The Housemaid is Watching at 11:30 p.m. last night, which is wild because I started it around 7 p.m. and I read a bit, I started it and then I did other things and then I went back to it and then I finished it all in one sitting. That is crazy fast for me. I don't read books that quickly. This was almost a 400-page book and I read it in 5 hours and not even fully in that time, in less than the 5 hours. This was a very fast-paced read and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I ended up rating it 4 stars. It could have been higher of a rating if, okay, I'll be honest, I didn't like having the kids involved in the plot as much as they were, and it's not because I'm like opposed to kids being involved in the plot, it's just with this subject matter, I didn't like it. I know a lot of people have said like the 3 books in this trilogy are like really repetitive. I don't think so. Not like, I get where they're coming from. I read them all like very spaced out, like months to years apart. So it like made it a little bit like not as repetitive to me because I don't read them quickly, if that makes sense. But it's the same main character for all 3 books. We're following Millie, and she has a purpose and a pattern with what she does with her illegal activity. So in that way it can be a little repetitive. Like she has a heart for women who are treated poorly by men. So like there is like kind of like that theme that's like similar in all of them, but I don't think it's that repetitive. I think they're all unique and different, have their own stories to them. This one, it had a unique like group of characters, because I don't even know if I fully mentioned what it's about, but Millie and Enzo and their 2 kids, they moved to this little cul-de-sac, and they're so excited to be out of like the city, out of a small apartment, to like give their kids this like the life they deserve, and the home and hometown and the backyard and like friends and all like the things that they deserve and want for their family. And then their neighbors are really weird and suspicious. There's things in the house that are weird and suspicious. And then it seems like Enzo, something's going on with Enzo, something's going on with the kids, and it's like, what is happening? You gotta read the book to know what's happening. I feel like not all of the characters were utilized to the best of their ability. I don't know if that makes sense, but one of the neighbors, I was expecting like a lot of stuff to be going on with her, but really there wasn't. I really enjoyed this book. I read it very quickly, had a good time, and this is officially a series completed. I know there's the novella, so I guess not technically completed, but I'm just counting the 3 books in the trilogy as the series, and so that is another series finished. To recap, we caught up with the Kings of Sin series. The next one comes out in like a month, so I'm gonna be back to not being caught up with the series. Don't know when I'll read King of Envy, but I forget what I rated this. 2.72? Did I rate it a 2-star? I think I did. I didn't enjoy this. And then Play With Me, we got 1 book further into the Playing with Keep series. There's currently 4 books. I believe there will be 5, but I don't know for 100%. So now I'm 2 books in out of the 4 books that are out. So I'm halfway through. So we're making progress on that. I forget what I think I rated this 4, because going back between like 3.75 and 4, but I think I went with the 4. I really liked their connection and their love, but it was too spicy and it was a little long for me. But I really love this family and just the friend group, and just it's like found family, but there's also the actual family in it. And I feel like so far with the 2 books I've read by Becca Mack, she really writes stories that I feel like the emotional connection between the 2 like love interests, and I adore that, and I love that, and I love feeling the emotional connection. These are the 3 books that I have read in this video. Made some progress on some series. I'm still in the middle of so many, so for the next few months I'm really gonna try to focus on reading and finishing books in the series I'm in the middle of. Thank you for watching this video. This is kind of took a long time for me in some ways. I don't even remember starting this video. Life is crazy, but I'm excited for March's reading vlogs and videos. I have a lot to do, a lot to read, a lot to film, a lot to edit. So I'm gonna go work on that, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!
Sunset